All right, so this week's topic is going to be on plastic pollutions in ocean, which is a pretty big topic, and you've probably heard a lot about this because it's a really big issue that is happening to us right now. So this is just a quick overview on kind of what we're going to be going over today. So yeah, let's start off by just saying what is plastic pollution. So before we even start, what do you guys think that is?
Plastic is pollution. Plastic pollution is like you like it's like you it's like some people like they throw them inside the ocean and
Mm-hmm.
it could hurt other animals and like they could probably be stuck inside or they can't breathe and
Yeah.
it's like a pollution across other animals and it's like dangerous for them. It endangers.
Yes, that is a wonderful, wonderful explanation. You explained it just right. Good job for you. Yeah, so plastic pollution is basically what you just said. When plastic gets into any sort of space, it doesn't just have to be the ocean. But we're going to be focusing on the ocean because it's a really big place where there's lots and lots of plastic in the ocean right now. And it'll build up in the environment and it causes really harmful behaviors to happen, which you state, like animals getting stuck, as you can see down here of our little turtle, which is really, really bad. As you said, it can suffocate them and it's not good for animals because they can get tangled and it can cause really bad accidents to happen. So plastics are made out of synthetic materials from petrochemicals, which is a really special type of chemicals. So they're super durable and useful, and they were originally created to replace wood, but it actually ended up being kind of like bad because plastic doesn't break down easily. And this is why when plastic gets into the ocean and other wildlife spaces, it takes hundreds to thousands of years for it to degrade. And even when it degrades, it turns into microplastics, which don't seem that harmful because you're like, well, I can't see any. But after a while, if microplastics accumulate into a lot of it, it can be very, very dangerous for us, even for us humans who don't live in the ocean. But think about food you eat from the ocean. Do you guys like seaweed or fish?
Like we
I like
some
fish.
people they eat cooked fish.
Yeah, yeah, fish. I love fish
Yeah.
too.
And
But
like isn't there like microplastics in water?
yeah, yeah, exactly. So the microplastics in the water actually can get into the fish because the fish live in the water, right? So we are actually, because of all this plastic pollution, we actually do consume some microplastics, which can be very, very dangerous if we consume a lot of it. So you can guys kind of see how plastic pollution affects not only the wildlife or really cool creatures, but also us. Oh, I see someone raised their hand. Did you guys want to add something?
Um, so so I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So so why does um the plastic bags hurt the animals?
Yeah, I can give you a really, really cool example. You see our sea turtle down here? So sea turtles here, their favorite food is jellyfishes. And what do plastic bags kind of look like? Think about it.
Jellyfishes?
Yes. So basically what happens is sometimes turtles, they mistake plastic bags for the real jellyfish and they consume the plastic bags. And even consuming that little of plastic is super, super dangerous for the animals because they're unable to digest it and it can cause them to get very, very sick or even die, which isn't really good, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys seen Finding Nemo. You know how Nemo got stuck in a piece of plastic, right? I think it was like a can holder
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can kind of see how bad plastic is for the environment because a lot of the animals can get stuck in them, right? So that's not good at all. All right, let's move on. So let's talk about why we're focusing on just oceans. So When you think of plastic pollution, you may be wondering, how does plastic go from my kitchen or from my restaurant all the way into the ocean? Well, that's a really great question. People are not just throwing ocean plastics into the ocean. Like you don't go to the beach and you don't see anybody throwing plastics into the ocean. That is just wrong. But instead, plastics, they travel through different types of transportations, including wind, like really, really strong storms, rivers, storm drains, and just big storms like hurricanes. So all of this will wash eventually into the ocean because um the ocean is connected to every single water system there is on Earth. So ponds, rivers, streams, storm drains, they are all connected to the ocean. So even though we may not be really close to the ocean, we have things around us that are close to the ocean, big water bodies, including rivers, streams, and lakes. And all connects to the ocean. And usually when this happens, it also brings along lots and lots of trash, including plastics, into the ocean, which is why plastic pollution is really deadly in the ocean. And there's a lot of it. As you can see up here, over 8 million tons of plastic enter the ocean yearly. If you guys don't know, tons are really, really, really heavy, like super
Yeah.
heavy. Yeah, that's a lot of trash. Just think about it. That is probably a whole like few houses full of trash. Okay, I see a hand. Someone have a question?
Yeah, it's me. So like my question is, why do do like do people throw plastics to the ocean, or and why do people throw plastic in the ocean?
Yeah, that is such a really, really great question. So most people don't want to throw plastics in the ocean because I know we probably all use plastics. I use plastics, but I don't mean to throw them into the ocean, right? A lot of the times, the plastic that get into the ocean are caused indirectly, so they are not supposed to happen. So, like as I said before, the ocean is connected to every single waterway there is on Earth. So little ponds, the little storm drain you have in front of your house and stuff, all of that is connected to the ocean. So even though nobody is going out to the beach, going onto the sand and like, here, let me just throw some trash into the ocean. No, that's not happening in real life, but it is indirectly happening, like people on accident, when people litter on the road, all of that trash can get into storm drains, and the drains will carry all of that trash into the ocean. So that's usually how most of the times how plastic get into the ocean. And because plastic is very light, it can travel really, really fast and then it spreads really, really bad into the ocean. And that can actually cause something called a garbage patch. You may be wondering, what is a garbage patch? It is basically when so much plastic gets into the ocean that it becomes a huge pile just swimming in the ocean. One of the biggest ones you'll ever hear of is called the Pacific Garbage Patch. It is bigger than the state of Texas. Imagine that. A big pile of plastic in the middle of the ocean that is bigger than the state of Texas. Kind of wacky, right? So yeah, so even though that's the hugest one, there's also lots and lots and lots of smaller garbage patches around the ocean, and the ocean is huge, and that's not good at all, having so much plastic in the ocean. So let's talk about how it actually affects our wildlife. So, as I said before, most marine animals mistake plastic for food. So, as I said before, jellyfish look a lot like plastic bags, and turtles mostly will accidentally ingest it because they can't really tell if it's a plastic bag or a jellyfish. It looks pretty much the same. Another example is birds. Have you guys seen the seagulls? In the ocean, there's not just fishes and your normal marine life, but it also accounts for different types of birds that live there, like seagulls. Some seagulls, they may mistake pieces of plastic for food and they'll feed it to their little baby chicks. And that can be very, very deadly because the little baby chicks, they're unable to digest all that plastic and it can usually lead them to them dying, which is not good at all. So that is definitely not good. Fish also can accidentally eat plastic because, as I said before, when plastic breaks down, it breaks into microplastics. So these really, really small pieces of plastic, can get into fish's stomach because it's so small, and it can cause harmful chemicals again to their body, which could poison them, which is definitely not good. Entanglement is another one. So nets, ropes, they can all trap marine life, like Nemo getting trapped in the pieces of plastic. Birds, like in this picture, there's a piece of plastic on its beak. It gets stuck. Right here, the sea turtle with its bag around its neck. So it is also really dangerous because it can choke them or it can cause them to have less functions of certain parts of their body. And also habitat damage. This is a very, very big one. So coral reefs are really, really important for our ecosystem because they provide homes, they help with global warming, but with so much plastic in the ocean, it can actually kill the coral reefs because they're quite sensitive to the water around them, but it could also damage the animals that live in the coral reefs. So it is all in all really, really bad. And as I said before, this will all end up impacting us humans too, because we eat stuff from the ocean, and that stuff in the ocean, if they're impacted by all of this plastic pollution, we will essentially be eating plastic too, which is kind of crazy to think about. So this is why it's super important that we want to keep less plastic in the ocean, not for the wildlife only, but also for us as well. So let's talk about the science of it. So plastics do not just decompose. So I know you've probably seen fruits on your counter like bananas. Bananas decompose pretty easily, right? You probably have a banana and in a few days it turns brown. So bananas decompose super duper easily. Or all the food that you have at home, it probably decomposes pretty easily. But plastics do not. Plastics take thousands and thousands of years to break down, and they don't break down into organic molecules. Organic molecules are things that are organically made, so they're not harmful and they can go back to the earth. But they break down into really harmful microplastics, and these pieces actually never disappear. Even though a big piece of plastic will break down into smaller pieces, that little piece of plastic will never disappear. It will always stay in the ocean or wherever it is that decomposes. And this can lead to something very, very harmful called bioaccumulation. So that is when toxins and plastics build up in an organism over time. So especially in those higher up in the food chain. So when all of these plastics break down, they combine with different toxins, and this can become really, really, really toxic to everyone around it. And this can eventually lead to us. So that's why some people get sick when they eat certain seafood because probably the animal that they ate it from had some kind of bioaccumulation of plastic in their system. And the humans eating that could also get us sick too, because eating plastic isn't good for anybody. Do you guys have a question?
Yes.
Yes. So, my question is like, why and how do like plastics, no, like how do plastics break down even though like it's kind of hard to break, and like in the sea it's like ocean, but there's nothing to break it down.
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. Good job for asking that. Yeah, so plastics. Plastics take a very, very long time to break down because of the materials they're made out of. They're made out of these really special chemicals that are not meant to break down easily. And you're asking how do they decompose in the middle of the ocean? There's nothing breaking it down, right? Usually it happens over time because of the water washing over and over and over again. It will eventually break down, but there's also certain bacteria that inhabit the plastic and they will slowly break it down. But as I said before, plastic never goes away. Even though it's broken down, it will always remain there. It turns into these really, really small microplastics that can be very, very deadly to us and to other creatures in the ocean. Does that make sense? Any more questions on this?
Yes.
All right, that's so cool. You guys are really good. Thank you for asking all these really, really good questions. Okay, so you may be wondering, how are people helping this? So, a lot of countries are currently banning single-use plastics and creating recycling programs. So, you probably have heard of the three R's: reuse, reduce, and recycle. That is a big thing. Your school probably has a lot of recycling bins. You probably have a recycling bin at home. So, a lot of people and a lot of countries are starting to, realize that this is a huge issue and we don't want this to happen anymore. So, the first thing is banning single-use plastics. Do you guys know what single-use plastics are? No, that's okay. So single-use plastics are basically plastics that you can only use basically one time. Think about it when you go to a restaurant, you usually get a straw for your drink. Do you bring that straw home? Probably not. So you just throw it away afterwards. That's a really, really good example of a single-use plastics. So a lot of people are trying to reduce the amount of single-use plastics that we're using in our every single day lives. So you probably seen straws now are made out of paper or like this really special plasticky material, but it's able to decompose. Those are some examples of how people are going around ways to reduce their single-use plastic usage. Over 100 countries have enacted plastic bans or restrictions. So some countries like Kenya, Bangladesh, and Chile have some of the strictest laws, including heavy fines for violating single-use plastics, which is really, really good because this actually enforces people who live in those countries to reduce the amount of plastics they use at home because, they don't want to get fined because it's probably really, really expensive. Different organizations are also cleaning up rivers, beaches, and using booms and barriers to collect plastics. So, fun fact, because I work at the Houston Zoo does beach cleanups once a month. So, a lot of people, including volunteers, they go down to the beach and they collect lots and lots of trash off of Galveston. Have you guys ever been? And you may think, well, I've never seen any trash at Galveston. You may be surprised when I tell you we get over hundreds and hundreds of pounds of trash. And it's not just plastic. We get wonky things. We found car tires, sandals, clothes, an umbrella, a license plate. It is really wacky, but all of this is not good. So a lot of organizations and communities are making the effort to clean up their local areas, which is really, really a really, really good way to give back to your community, but also for the greater earth. Yes, I see a question.
So so that's why we we celebrate Earth Day.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. A fun fact about Earth Day was, let's go all the way back. So back in the good old days, people weren't very aware of the environment. They didn't really care. So we had these huge factories that would pollute rivers. People would be throwing trash everywhere. It was really, really bad back then. Like people did not care. They didn't realize the impact pollution have on the environment. And that's kind of where Earth Day happened. All of a sudden, people were like, wait, we got to protect our Earth because if we don't protect our home, then it wouldn't be good for any of us. So that's kind of how Earth Day started. We started celebrating our Earth, of the beautiful place that we live in, and that we have to clean it up and keep it beautiful so many more generations can enjoy the beautiful place we call home. So that's really, really good thing that you brought up. Yeah, so Earth Day, we celebrate our Earth, and it's a good time to realize that we need to do our very best to keep our Earth very clean. And I know during Earth Day, a lot of places they do cleanups and stuff, which is really, really great because there's a lot of places that are very, very polluted right now. Yes, I see another question.
And also on Earth Day. So why do they like like um grow a plant?
Yes, yes. That is really good thing that you brought up. Yeah, so Earth Day, We celebrate all aspects of our Earth, from our mountains, our deserts, our oceans. Everything on Earth is celebrated. And cleanups mostly affect oceans because we clean up our beaches. But as you said, planting plants is another very important thing for our Earth because we cut down a lot of trees every year to make paper, to make houses, to make lots and lots of stuff. And so by replanting trees and other wildlife plants, it is really good for our Earth because we need trees for oxygen, but we also need plants for animals who call those places home. So that's a really good thing that you brought up. We might go over that in some future lesson. Yes, another question?
So my question is like, you said that earlier, you said that the ocean connects to every system of oceans, right? And then you said like the strictest countries about like doing plastic, about wasting plastic, like do they go there?
Could you repeat that? So like you're saying like does the plastic go to those places or
So what I'm saying is that you said earlier you said that every ocean connects to every ocean water connects to the system, and like you said the strictest country don't allow plastics inside the ocean. So
yes,
do
that's
they
right.
go there? Like do
Yeah.
they oh
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so you're absolutely correct. Good job for remembering all of that. That is really wonderful of you. Yeah, so every single water system in on Earth connects to ocean. It can be any ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean, all sorts of oceans. And as you said, there are some countries that are super duper strict on it, but of course it can still happen because not one country, every country we share oceans, like the Pacific Ocean. Not only the United States have the Pacific Ocean, Canada has the Pacific Ocean. So even though some countries are stricter than others, the some of the countries that are not as strict can still get plastic into the ocean, and that plastic can still flow to the countries that have stricter laws. So even though some countries are really strict on it, the only way for it to be effective is if every country is really strict on it, so we can, reduce the plastic usage overall. Yes, another question?
So why is like the other um countries um don't allow like some some trash um like on the beach with the ocean?
Yeah, so some countries they have laws that are stricter. It may be some countries they want to do their best to, reduce the plastic usage. And of course, everybody wants to reduce the plastic usage and trash they leave behind. But some countries just are a little bit stricter on it because they have the resources or the people there, they all want to unite and do it because it's hard getting everyone to do it because we all have different views and we only have certain limitations on what we can do to reduce this usage. So it is just kind of like that. I know that we're running out of time, so I'm going to quickly speed through the rest of it. And if we don't finish all of it, I will post it in the Google Classroom, which I think was sent out to you guys. And you guys can look through the PowerPoint. If you guys have any questions, you guys can text me on the group me and I can answer any sort of questions. Like any questions you guys have on the environment, I'm super happy to answer them. And if I see you guys next week, you guys can bring your questions with you too. I am more than happy to answer any questions. So let's go ahead and talk about what you guys can do. So reduce, avoid single-use plastics. When you go to restaurants, say no to the straws. You don't need a straw to drink your drink. You can use the cup. Say no to plastics when you go anywhere. Like reduce all the plastics used. Sandwich bags, those are a big one. Reduce all the plastics you have. Reuse, bring your own bags. I know I like buying cute tote bags. They're really cute and they're really effective and you can reuse them. So when you go to the grocery store, you can use the same bag. containers, you guys probably use lunch containers, and those are reusable, so that's super good. Your water bottles, get a really cute water bottle, and you can use it forever. You don't have to buy lots and lots of plastic because you're probably going to throw that away or it's going to break. Recycle. You probably have a recycling bin at your school, at the park, or even in your own home. Make sure you clean it and sort it, and you can recycle it or bring it to a recycling center. There's lots and lots of recycling center in our greater area. So if you bring it there, some of them even pay you if you bring in recycled items. So that's really, really cool. And refuse, say no to all plastic straws and utensils because those are actually the most harmful. And then after today, I hope you guys are a little bit more educated and you guys feel a lot more stronger on this topic. Feel free to reach out to your friends, to your teachers, to your parents, to other family members about this and ask them, tell them that these are some ways that we should do to protect our earth. And also, you can also look out for some cleanup opportunities if you guys are interested in it. I really encourage you guys to sign up for some cleanups or planting some trees. Those are super duper fun and you are actually doing a really good thing for our earth. So this can be like a little homework assignment. You guys can do it. You guys don't have to do it. So I want you guys to track every single piece of plastic you use for 24 hours. It can be any type of plastic. Plastic bags, trash bags, your toothbrush, all sorts of plastic. Think about where did that come from and use it. Was that using that piece of plastic? Was it necessary? Or can it be used or replaced? And you guys can kind of, you know, reflect and think about, are my plastic habits good or do I need to kind of change them? Yes, I see a question.
Um, so, so, so after, I come back from like the stores, I have this whole cabinet and it's full with, um, some plastic bags and, um, I, s- um, I, s- I just, like, um, just keep it when, um, we need it.
Yes, yes, I love that. I do that too. At my house, we also have a big bucket and it's just filled with plastic bags. I try to reuse a lot of it. It ends up being my trash bags and stuff, but overall, my family and I, we try to limit the usage of plastic bags. So when we go to supermarkets and stuff, we try bringing our own bags so we don't have to get any more bags in from the supermarket because that's just really wasteful and stuff. And of course, we learned today it is not good for the earth at all. So this is some discussion questions. We don't really have a lot of time for this, but we can do one question. So after this lesson, what change do you guys want to start making today? It can be any type of change. What do you guys think you guys should be start doing at home to better our earth and stuff?
I am
That's a homework,
like going.
so that's homework, right? Let Edith, it's almost time for
Yeah, I know. We're running a little short on time. For homework, I just asked them to track
Mhm.
every piece of plastic they use for 24 hours, and they can kind of just reflect on where did that plastic come from? Was that usage of plastic necessary, and can it be reused or replaced? And it can kind of help them develop new habits and reflect on what ways they can change on their lifestyle and stuff.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So we can do one question and I will let you guys go. But what change do you guys want to start making today? Because I know we talked about a lot of aspects on plastic pollution and how it affects our wildlife creatures and us humans. So is there any changes you guys want to make or changes that you guys are already doing that you guys think are really good for the earth?
Um,
So,
um,
um,
so, so I am, like going to start, like, 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 like going to, my backyard and to, to pick up some trash and go, around my neighborhood.
That is wonderful. I love that. Keep me updated on that. Is a really good initiative. I love it.
And what I can change starting today is like to use like plastic whenever it's necessary, but like using straws is not necessary because you already have a cup, and
Mhm.
so like if you need plastic, you have to use it for necessary things.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you guys really got the motto of today's lesson. I am so, so proud of you. And I know you guys will do amazing changes to your lifestyle. And you guys, even that small little action, you guys are contributing so much to our earth. You're basically planet protectors. You're protecting our planet and leaving it beautiful for everyone else. That is really awesome. And I really appreciate you guys listening to my talk today. And also, I'm really proud of you guys for taking initiative and actually wanting to make change. So that is super duper duper awesome of you guys. So I will let you guys go because I know it's been a very, very long class, but I've enjoyed having you guys and I hope to see you guys next week on our next lesson.